welcome to So Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fan cast by a fervent fan.
And a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay, and this is the story So Farscape. And you are with us today for episode 221, Liars, Guns, and Machinations.
Money. Part 3.
Plan B. And I was hoping that I was going to be able to cash in on some of my Farscape fun bucks, but alas,
no. Which one in particular were you curious about?
It's the Chana pregnancy scare, considering the title. But
oh dear. Well, unfortunately, there's
none of that.
None of that. I actually had a look at the prediction. Nothing really comes together this time around. I mean, you've still got a few. You've still got a few that you can that you might be able to cash for the end of the season.
Ooh.
I mean, you did predict that Liars, Guns, and Money would run until the end of the season.
Well, there was no to be continued at the end of this episode.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
I'm afraid that I kind of missed out on that one, unless they're pulling a sneaky on us.
Oh, they wouldn't do that.
Well,
no one would ever do that. Okay, so the story So Farscape.
So in order to be able to buy Dargo's son Jothi, they have been planning on raiding a shadow deposit, which went pretty well, aside from the fact that Scorpius showed up there as well with his own problems. A big pile of money that was getting ready to be given to Scorpius got misappropriated by our heroes and brought aboard Moya, where it turned out to be a ploy to actually kill Scorpius.
Yes.
This got Moya into deep trouble, and in order to go and bust out Jothi, who had meanwhile been bought by Scorpius because he'd hacked into Stark's system while Stark was trying to control the Shadow Depository system. Yes.
He's really so proud.
He managed to get hold of Jothi, and they brought a bunch of misfits together, like the past successes.
Calling them successes is really generous.
Well,
I appreciate that.
I mean, successes from the production crew point of view.
Not
necessarily that they were particularly great and successful. In fact, they weren't, because they pretty much were all beaten by the crew. So that was really, now that I think about it, that's actually kind of weird. Like, let's go and find these losers, which you already beat, and now let's get them to help us. You know, it's a bit of a strange leap of...
Okay. Well, so do you think they could have... If they have to put a team together of people who have beaten them... That's going to be who? Maldis?
And Crace, technically.
Well, they did beat Crace. I mean,
I suppose. Well,
if they hadn't beaten or bamboozled everyone in their path, they would all be dead or imprisoned, and there would be no show.
No.
Actually, hold on. Who has beaten them? There must be someone, right?
I mean, depends on your definition of beaten, but
I mean, someone who wanted something that
got it from them.
Then they,
I mean, they got, bamboozled themselves many times, but...
Yeah, okay, but...
I mean, that's the whole point. Like you just said, you can't, if they lose, then there won't be a show. I mean, there can be minor setbacks and stuff, and they can lose money, food, wealth, all that sort of thing.
I'm just sort of reeling here. Like, I've always described Farscape as a bunch of, heroic losers surviving out in the...
Yeah.
But they have survived and beaten everything they've encountered.
Mm.
They've left a trail of destruction in their wake. Let me see. Namtar was destroyed by them. Maldis twice.
Yes.
Well, dispersed, whatever.
Now, of course...
the Placavians.
I suppose.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Who sort of executed Stark, but that didn't last very long.
No, they didn't. Yeah, I mean, they got beaten by the Placavians and then let go. I mean, they bet what's-face, Rigel's tormentor, the guy whose head he's carrying around.
Durka,
that's
yes.
the one, yes.
Yeah, Rigel's still carrying him around on a stick.
Yes. Oh, man, that's brutal.
All right, and the last episode ended with the realization that they finally have all these mercenaries with whom they were going to rescue Jothi. And then, well, they don't have any money to pay the mercenaries.
No.
Our money's alive!
And Jothi shows up.
Yep, because John has gone and voluntarily handed himself in because he wants that thing out of his head. And apparently Scorpius was good for his word for a change and actually made the trade for Jothi.
And that's where we open in part 3, Liars, Guns, and Money, Plan B.
Prepare for starburst!
We have some lovely synopsises from our listeners sent to us.
Oh, yes,
Let's
we do.
not forget about those.
Thank you.
So yes, about today's episode. Ocean's 13 was okay. This time the crew heists the same place a third time to rescue a distraught shipmate. An old enemy arrives on the scene to help. The crew discovers the eventual end of the best laid plans of mice and men, featuring a roller coaster ride of emotions including an interrogation, sex swing, and a startlingly depressing request by one of Moya's crew.
Ooh, yeah.
Thanks, Wookiee.
Let me see, Jenna. Ooh, Jenna. A class reunion gets awkward when no one knows how to synchronize their watches and a hothead has insertion issues. I wonder who that could be. Thanks, Jenna.
And what will the crew of Moya do to save one of their own from the clutches of their nemesis? Plus, John finds out why he's been seeing Scorpius everywhere he goes. And thank you, Billy Roberts, for that one.
Wait, is that for this episode, do you think? That seems... I think maybe I'm not the only one who has trouble sort of separating the various acts of Liars, Guns and Money.
Well, okay, so Jotham wasn't a member of the crew, so it clearly can't have been him that he was talking about. It kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Billy. So we open on the interrogation sex swing, as it was called.
Which I would more call a misappropriated piece of playground equipment. It's kind of It's kind of like the ball with the globe with the little lights stuck in it from Muppets in Space, except the lights have been removed and now John has been strapped to the outside.
Excellent callback.
You see the spiral?
Yeah, the little globe with the LEDs that serve no other purpose except to illustrate this exact distribution of events. It's a horrible piece of... I mean, it's a great piece of set design.
Yes.
Tim Ferrier was very proud of it.
Yeah, he gets strapped to the outside of this metal sphere, which is made out of a lattice work, and then he gets rolled up onto his back, and that's pretty much how he spends the entire episode.
Yep, an absolute nightmare for Ben Browder, who... I mean, he is a kindly man, but... he struggled to hide his hatred of Tim Ferrier for designing this thing that he apparently never once tried himself. You've got this awful metal beam sort of digging into your back. You've got the blood rushing to your brain and to your... Ugh.
They didn't give him a little bit of padding or something to make it a little bit more comfortable, but yeah, I guess not.
So he's up here so that Scorpius can soften his neurons and figure out whether the neural clone has indeed reached the information that he wants.
Scorpius is playing with more PK plug-in technology. He's got big, long audio jacks, which I see him plugging into the console.
It's the same sort of phone jack technology. Do you know, like the exchange? What's it called? What's it called? The phone switches.
PBX.
We saw. Oh, I was going to say Gennady and Chato. No, a different Peacekeeper girl. Jelena.
Jelena,
shame on me for not getting her.
Hi, Jelena.
Yeah, that's apparently how Peacekeeper technology works. You've got wires and you plug them in and the lights go on.
And then stuff happens, yes.
On Moya...
they're playing back John's farewell message.
This thing in my head, this chip, part of me now wants it to control me, so I'm going to go to Scorpion and have him take it out before it's too late, before I no longer want it gone. Goodbye, my friends. At least by swapping myself for Jotham, I can do you some good.
It is pretty grim and emotional. I'm kind of surprised that everyone is on the command and listening, including all of the mercenaries.
Yes.
Who immediately abandon the
plan.
plan.
Well, the guy who hired us isn't here anymore, and the guy we were going to free is
there's
free.
No
so
money.
I guess we're gone. Yeah, there's no money. That's a very big part. I mean, Erin is clearly choking up here. She's having a hard time with seeing this message.
Yeah.
You see how you misread it?
Yes.
It's a great performance by Claudia Black. Like, you can just see how overwhelmed she is, and yet she's holding it together. As is most of the rest of the crew, I've got to say.
I mean,
Gianna's on the ball, still trying to keep everyone together.
Although the pirates immediately go, there's no money, therefore Moya is now ours. I guess,
ours now, and point their guns at Chiana.
I guess pirate's going to pirate.
You see my problem, don't you? I don't do anything unless I get paid. And since you no longer have currency, Moya is now mine.
Erin is so unimpressed. We come back from the credits and Erin's like, okay, shoot her, you idiot.
Yeah.
In fact, if you even wanted to come along, I wouldn't take you because you're so stupid. You're going to take a half-burnt, crippled Leviathan
over all the stuff we can offer you on the planet.
There's a whole bank that we can rob.
But you'd rather point a gun at a girl.
What are you trying to do, Erin? Shame me into going with you?
No. No, because even if you wanted to, I wouldn't go into battle with you now. Do you know why? Because you're a coward and an idiot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good power play.
Yeah. It's not quite enough to convince them, but then arrives Stark.
My side, your side.
And Stark sees all this madness, and his response to madness is...
More madness.
More madness, yes. Oh, there's a fire? I'll get the petrol. Let's go. And Rorf, who... I love Rorf.
Yeah, Rolf buys into it. He goes oh, okay, yeah, this is cool. I can work with this guy. Yeah.
What's the matter with you, freckface? Matter. I tell you, matter. Oh, Scorpius killed 10,000 of my people. 10,000 cast into space. 10,000 souls scream in my brain. The chair, remember the chair? What chair? This frack is crazy. You coming? Do you agree? Will you fight like this down there? Of course. Oh, no hands.
I changed my mind. Yes. I'll go into battle with him. He has the spirit of the hunter, not the prey. He digs it.
I wouldn't call it that myself, but,
No, I think Rorf is actually a really bad judge of everything, but I kind of like his enthusiasm.
No, true. That's I think that's a very fair assessment that Rorf is just fairly primitive by most people's standards, I suppose. I mean, Natira keeps calling him an animal later on.
Yeah, didn't like that.
Nah.
Animal.
I see a lot of myself in Rorf.
I can see where you're coming from.
Eloquent, loquacious, not fully plugged in, but totally charged ahead. Half-formed, but completely committed.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to talk them into it, especially. It takes a little bit of work on the pirates.
The standoff is even trickier now that this insanity has taken place. Aaron's got her gun as well. Everybody's got guns. And then Pilot announces, excuse me, not now, Pilot, we're negotiating.
Yes, that was funny.
But there's a ship approaching.
Turns out, Talon
Not Scorpius,
is
but
arriving.
yes.
It's Talon.
Because Scorpius mentioned that his command carrier is engaged in battle.
Yes.
Whatever that's going.
That's, I guess, command carriers is going to go to battle and they have to do their thing. And he was just doing a little side trip to get his money while he was in the neighborhood.
I guess that explains why he didn't return to the command carrier after the first episode.
I'm also noticing that he had a lot of soldiers with him all of a sudden. Last time it kind of looked like he had a small contingent, but this time around there were a lot of peacekeeper troopers. Yeah.
He's just got one of those Acme cans of instant army that you can just open and shake out.
It's like when you're playing video games, like Red Dead Redemption 2. You've got your little gang, which is about 20 folks, and then there's the opposing gang, the old Driscolls, I believe they're called.
Yeah,
and they're kind of made out to be the same kind, but you keep running into little groups of O'Driscolls, and you must have killed hundreds by the end of the game. And they just keep coming, and you just figure they could have easily, if they have so many, why haven't they wiped us out a long time ago? But no, you
don't
only
give them ideas.
You only encounter little groups of 10 or 15 or 50 even, and then they keep coming through the entire game, and you must have killed I don't know how many, but hundreds at the very least.
Well,
so I guess
there's a lot of parallels with this week's episode. Yeah, I can see that. In fact, speaking of sort of virtual environments, that's something that Scorpius is preparing to do.
Yes, he's softening up John's brain to get his neuroprobe to work so he can go inside.
Natira is loving it. She's climbing all over it. She just really, really enjoys this
cruelty, I suppose. Yeah.
Right?
She is.
That's how she gets her jollies.
We don't actually see what happens other than there's this little light, proby, shiny thing on the side of his head.
Yeah, he's got a sort of metal tiara. God, this must have been uncomfortable for Ben Browder. And these sort of lights shining at his head, although he is advised not to move too much because the slightest twitch at the wrong time could leave you paralyzed.
And then I'm just why are you letting the tiara climb all over him then?
Yeah. It's sort of jungle gym climbing frame.
Yep.
That's kind of what Moya looks like because Talon is reverse umbilicaling.
Yeah, they're pumping some nutrients over to Moya to help her heal.
Yeah, he detected his mother in distress and
decided to come over.
There was a little bit of a pronoun slip up there where Pilot talks to Krace, which I don't know for sure, but maybe the first time that Lani Tupu has talked to himself. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, where he says...
Grace, we are very thankful that you allowed Talon to respond to her mother's distress call.
Her mother.
Oh.
Just a little slip up.
Okay.
But, I don't know, maybe Talon's just exploring something about himself. teenagers. They're going to sort of figure out their identity.
Keep a check on the electrocell levels. They mustn't rise above 6 parts.
I'm well aware of that.
Grace comes aboard Moya, looking around the burnt section, trying to give pilots some advice. He's Leviathan-splaining.
I suppose, yes. I mean, there's
not
lots
even
of...
a giggle.
Oh, well...
Okay,
no, sorry.
Fine. I'll work harder next time.
I mean, the walls kind of look grim. It almost looks like there's like dead people sticking out of them in some places. Like,
I sort of read that as like drops of melted and then cooled like wall metal.
I guess that makes sense.
Aaron tries to convince him to help. I mean, now that you're here...
Yeah.
Is there some reason you wish us to stay?
We are planning to attack the shadow depository on the planet below us.
And you want Talon to help?
And he goes like, oh, if you found a cause worth fighting for, and he's like playing the pacifist really weirdly. I'm not quite sure what to think of Crace in this regard. He's all about wanting to have his own gunship, but then not using it. So I'm not sure what he's on, what his plan is.
Well, he's certainly on his high horse.
Yes, but that's one he loves to be on anyway.
It's just such an interesting point of view. Like, she asks him to help kill Scorpius, and he goes,
Tempting.
But then he asks her, like, okay,
Why?
so...
What's your stake in the game?
Yeah. I thought you didn't want Talon to be used as a weapon, but now it's okay because it's for you?
Yeah.
I thought that you didn't want to use Talon for violence. You all said that from the beginning.
Yes, but this is different.
How? Is this violence more acceptable because it's for you?
No, it's because Scorpius has captured Crichton and he's going to kill him if we don't get down there.
There's always a reason for violence, Aaron. Thousands of people die for the most virtuous causes.
Oh, you don't have to lecture me, Chris.
I believe I do.
And then he says, you have lectured me countless times.
No, she hasn't.
I know. Right?
A few times, yeah. No. I mean, back when he was her commander, then she wouldn't have lectured him.
Definitely not.
And
the first time that he talked back to her, that she talked back to him. Oh, it's me messing up with the pronouns now.
Yeah.
The first time that she talked back to him, it was when he was in the Aurora chair. Oh, I guess it must have been like between season 1 and 2 when they had their little conspiracy in the asteroid field.
That might have been.
When we don't really know how much time passed.
Yeah, or how many talking happens.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, so maybe that was just wall-to-wall lectures for Crace that he's still a little bitter about.
But he gets her to admit to what it is that she wants and why she thinks it's suddenly okay. And it turns out it is because they're going to rescue John.
Yeah. She cares a great deal about him. And
she actually makes an offer to him to basically give him anything he wants.
Aaron Sulam, are you offering me so?
Which is something he entertains. And I kind of thought that was going to come back at the end of the episode, and I was almost surprised that it didn't, because I had a little note writing about that.
Okay, so we're skipping ahead a bit because this is another scene where she says, you can take anything you want, and I won't stop you.
Yeah.
After he's even asked her, are you offering yourself?
Right, yes.
Something that he's wanted before. He wanted Aaron to come with him and parent Talon together initially until he got the hand of friendship.
Yes, and then he couldn't care less. I kind of figured that he was going to say that his price was going to ask her to come with him again. But no, he didn't. Yeah, so that didn't turn into anything.
He's got the moral high ground here. Like, he's claimed to be reformed and to guide Talon with an effort to keep him from violence.
Yeah.
And that seems to be entirely true so far.
So far, yes. He's not done anything that contradicts that.
Well, Crace certainly hasn't.
No.
Like, anytime Talon has attacked,
that's
it'd
what I
been,
mean.
it'd have been in defense, and Crace seems to have tried to rein in his aggressive tendencies with moderate success.
Meanwhile, on command, they are having a discussion about how to take the plan into effect.
Stark is explaining his incredibly complicated plan.
So when you're here, I'm here. And everything's perfectly timed because we're on a silent count. Right? Right? Right?
Yes, you're going to go there, then they're going to blow up the reactor, and under the guise of darkness. And how are we going to time it? Well, because we're on a silent timer, and
in the middle of battle,
nobody knows what he's talking about, or if when they do, they figure like, oh, that's not going to work.
Once again, I love Rorf. He asks all the questions that I do. Okay, how are we going to? But
a silent count while we're fighting? Yes, it's easy.
It's complicated.
No, it's hard. Like, that's their problem. He's asking to do something that is hard. That's terrible.
But, I mean, you just, like, put a little, you take a kitchen timer and you set that for 3 minutes. I mean, you don't have to go all Hudson Hawk and all sing the same song.
I love that you went there. That's literally where I was going to go. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar. Da-da-da.
Although that's hardly a silent count, but still.
I know, when you have to sing it in your head. Oh, that's all I want now. Unfortunately, that's not what we get. So while this terrible, terrible plan is still being fought out, and you see sort of Bakesh, you don't quite see him roll his eyes because he's got the chrome dome over his head.
Yes,
but you see him resting. He's doing the Picard maneuver.
He's definitely getting a little bit exasperated with how things are. He's also trying to like claim the moral high ground by calling himself, what is it, the warrior priest or of something or the other?
Oh, yes.
I am the holy warrior of Taru.
Whatever.
Yes.
Because he's converted to the writ of Taru and put violence behind him, but not too much.
Not
Now
today,
he's the holy warrior.
Yes.
Sort of getting back there.
He's basically proclaiming himself to be a paladin, I suppose, which are always the really fucked up cases in the D&D games.
You can't really do that retroactively.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you can always claim to be it.
Speaking of paladins and warriors, we see Jothi inspecting his dad's qualter blade, and Dargo apologizes that they haven't had a chance to talk. Obviously, things are happening.
You actually fight with this? He's just like...
Weighs a Drakic.
It's perfectly balanced. I still use it myself.
He's never seen one before.
No.
And you can see that it pains Dargo because this is a piece of Luxon legacy that is completely unfamiliar to Jothi, who snaps back at him a little bit. Like when Dargo asks, who gave you those scars, who mutilated you?
You did. In a way, you've done everything that ever happened to me.
Just a very change of tone in Jothi.
Yeah.
He became much more of a bratty teenager and less of he was much more calm and serene, I suppose, last time round.
Yeah, he was more reactive rather than active, and he was very reassuring of his dad that he never gave up hope.
Exactly, and now he's a little bit snippy and mean to him almost.
I guess he has a complicated emotional life, right? He's been separated from his family for 10 years. He says he was on the run. He's been enslaved. And while at the same time, apparently he always held the hope that his dad would help him.
Yes.
He also blames his father for abandoning him, for causing this situation, for being unable to protect him.
I wouldn't precisely say blame him, because he literally says something about that he...
When you think about it, everything that happened to me is your fault, but he's not angry about it, which is a level of emotional maturity I really admire in Jothi. But to Dargo's surprise, Jothi doesn't want to fight, which Dargo just assumed that he wanted to help because it's to rescue Crichton, who rescued him in a way.
You don't expect me to help you save Crichton, do you?
I thought you would want to.
Listen, I'm interested in saving myself.
But of course, he just got his freedom, and he doesn't want to give it up for a stranger.
And he does a bit of a flip on that later on, but yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish that this arc got a bit more time and more space to breathe, because it's really great. And this young actor, whose name I, to my great regret, have not written down.
Oh dear.
Oh my God. Many apologies. I'm just sorry. I was just thinking that maybe I'll edit it in here, but that's a bad thought, especially now that I'm saying it out loud. Okay, so note to self: edit this part. No, hold on. That's also. Okay,
we're coming into a recursive loop.
Yes, exactly. Pull me out.
Okay.
Oh, don't stop now, Scorpy. Roll me over and base the other side.
At the same time, back on the planet, Scorpius is starting to make his move. He swipes his hand over the control panel. Ben Browder does another fantastic little twitch and scream, and then he finds himself on the dock of the bay in Abbott Cove, of wherever the bleep it is.
Oh, Sawyer's Mill?
Yeah, he mentioned something. It looks like...
This is Sawyer's Mill.
I nailed it. I'm so proud of myself.
And standing there, talking to whom he first thinks is Scorpius, but turns out to be Harvey.
Yeah, who says, oh, and I'm not Scorpius.
Yes, he is.
And then we get a really cool effect. Anytime that Harvey speaks, he has this reverse echo. The echo comes before his speech, and Scorpius is completely clear. And he's just asking his clone, hey, how's it going? Job done? Yeah.
I think,
Really weird in here, though.
I'm in there, yeah. Scorpius jabs him in the neck with some sort of neural inhibitor. So for the rest of the scenes which take place on this dock, Ben Browder can do his Gorm face again while he's just like laying flat on his face and doing his like, I can't move.
It's like he got his bones liquefied again by
exactly.
Linnea's sort of shotgun.
It's exactly that same pose and expression that he gets.
I'm going to recover from this, right? Completely, right?
I don't understand what the point is because... Okay, so this paralyzes him, right?
Yeah.
But he can still talk and move his eyes, which is about all he could do anyway because he was strapped down on the awful, awful ball.
Yes. I don't know, maybe he
So
doesn't
why paralyze someone who's already strapped down?
Why paralyze him in his own mind even then?
What's even the point of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's just a mental construct.
And what's worse, this is where he informs him, don't worry, after I've gotten my chip...
Your death will be painless.
It's a generous offer that he makes more than once.
Yes, to more than one person, yeah. Once he gets him to the command carrier, because apparently this chip can't be removed here, or at least he doesn't want to, but he has to get the command...
I caught that as well.
Yeah.
It's not clear whether he can't or whether he doesn't want to.
I presume can't, because I can't think of any reason why he would want to postpone it.
Good point. Yeah. Well, how would that work? Okay, so he takes the chip out, and then what? I mean, it's not harder to defend the chip than to defend John.
No, probably easier.
All right. No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. So he's got to wait for his command carrier to return, which he recalls from battle, which
Just
is...
stop fighting, come back.
Yeah.
Maybe
kind of a bold strategic move.
Yeah, you don't know. Maybe they're just like oppressing some poor planet somewhere and...
maybe they're harvesting tannered roots.
Yeah, there you go. That's,
the locals are putting up a fight.
Yeah, so they need to go on a little punishment expedition and they can break that off whenever, you know.
The ease with which you imagined horrors like that, it's kind of disturbing. Oh, yeah, speaking of imagining horrors, we finally get an idea why Scorpius has such a boner for the wormhole weapons, because he claims that he isn't intent on galactic domination, but he does want to sway the balance of power.
Imagine the ability to move an army in an instant, the power to make hostile planets disappear.
So he kind of does want galactic domination.
For the peacekeepers, I guess.
Right, yeah.
I guess his hatred for the Scarans is so singular, like Natira observed.
He's not a Scaran. You wouldn't waste your hatred on anything else.
I mean, he might figure that he can use it to gain his popularity among the peacekeepers, build his rank there, and then use it to, like, win the war with the Scarans.
Yeah.
And after that, probably work on galactic domination. I mean, I've no idea what motivates him other than hatred for Scarans.
He's an interesting character, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, I love a villain whose agenda is clear, but whose motivation is still difficult to comprehend. And certainly someone who's as calm and violent and seductive and brutal.
I would almost say the opposite right now. It's like his motivation is clear. He hates Scarans and he hates being a second-rate citizen, despite the fact that he's gained rank among the peacekeepers. And his agenda seems far more unclear, other than he wants to get the wormhole technology, but only what does he want to do with that?
Exactly. So strategy is okay. I have forgotten just how quickly these scenes follow each other. Now we have a Jothi coming to Dargo saying, no, I do want to fight.
I don't want you to think I'm a coward.
Yes.
That he apologizes and realizes that any of your fight is my fight as well. It's a beautiful rapprochement between
and now
son and
Dargo
father.
flips out like, oh no, I'm not letting you fight. It's not your fight, and like I want you to stay safe. So it's like maybe this is like Lux and reverse psychology on their.
Oh yeah, he saw Eren doing it earlier. It worked on the pirates. Oh, speaking of the pirates, the Zenitans and the Shiyang have come to talk about the plan. And Dargo, who shows great forethought, asks Pilot,
"Would you mind telling these fools what we talked about earlier?"
Dargo advised me to auto-program the maintenance bay. If you try to mutiny, the chamber will fill with venom gas and render you unconscious.
But it turns out that's not what they're there to do. They're not there to mutiny again, but they just have serious concerns about the plan. And Dargo, showing great leadership again, the plan.
That is why I say we should forget about it.
Forget it?
What we're going to do, we're just going to bust in there through the front door and fight our way through.
So anyway, I started blasting.
It's what we're good at.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're all on the same page. Great.
Fine. That's when Eren shows up carrying her BFG.
Yes, she's got a BFG that you can see Dargo's a little envious of, but don't worry, he gets his own. Scorpius gets some good news, namely that the command carrier is going to arrive a bit sooner than expected. It's going to be there within 6 hours.
Although he's a little bit suspicious about good news for some reason. Yeah,
he goes, "Oh, that's too bad."
That's too bad.
What? Yeah, he doesn't like good news.
That's too convenient.
But that's not the only powerful reaction he has, because mid-sentence, his cooling rod gives out, and he just sort of snaps and snarls and rushes off.
Oh, what's the matter? You got a little warm head? How about I change that rod for you? I got some spares.
Natira, lock this chamber down. Open it for no one but me.
I still don't understand quite what happened there. How that...
Well, he did have a lot of jellyfan paste in his brain earlier on, so that may have just left him extra sensitive.
It seemed that it got triggered by John's taunting, but maybe that causes his temperature to rise a little bit. Because John maintains his, constant level of inane banter, his
defense mechanism.
Mal Reynolds type banter while he gets tortured.
Bitching in the face of danger.
Yep.
Oh, what a day he's having. It's really awful. So
then he has to deal with Natira, like having her little go at him, slapping him across the face to taste his blood. She's just being a royal bitch.
Yeah,
pardon my French.
Well, she's a sadist.
Yeah.
That's quality that apparently Scorpius really appreciate. Oh, we really get to appreciate the incredible makeup put on Claudia Carvin. Even her teeth, her gums are blue.
Yes, I noticed that as well. I saw that last episode.
So cool.
That must have been quite the job to get that all done.
The plan, insofar as it exists, is put into effect, and it's going really well, because we've got Rorf and Bekesh, the Vorkarian blood tracker, and the reformed Tavlek, now holy warrior of Taru, have already sort of wandered in, and they're reporting their success.
How does this Relling thing work?
I hear you, blood tracker.
We're just outside the depository, and yes, you were right. The guards aren't looking for a Vorkarian or a Tavlek.
So we can just sort of wander in. Now, where are we going?
Carrying big guns, walking around completely unchallenged by anybody, bickering between themselves, bickering with Rigel, who's got that head still stuck on his staff, and he's still carrying...
Yes, waving around from the little shuttle that he's on.
I guess they wanted a little bit more mileage out of that particular prop.
Yeah, not just we can drop it on the floor and roll it in slow motion, but we can also just wave it around. It is so big compared to his own. Well, actually, now I'm looking at it.
I think it looks about right. It's Rigel has a big head.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Back on Moya, things are not going so well.
You see one of the rare scenes that Zahn has in this episode.
She did not get a lot to do in these episodes. She comes upon the Sheyang, Turak.
Yes, who's having some problems, middle-aged male problems.
Listen, 4 out of 5 men deal with it at some point in their lives. I mean, he can feel, you can feel the nutrients in there, but you just can't reach them to make the fire.
Can you produce flame?
Of course.
I will not let you endanger the rest of us. Stark's plan depends upon your ability to produce flame. If you cannot, I must warn the others.
Yes, he's got problems producing his fireball, but he tells her that if she can give him some sort of poison, that it'll allow him to reach in and shoot the fireball to destroy the generator, as the plan is.
And this scene is dropped sort of in the middle as well. It's sort of... I felt that a little bit throughout this episode. The scenes felt a little too short. I can imagine, Justin Monjo had a terrible job keeping this episode moving and making sure that all the pieces fall into place.
And yet they waste so much time on the firefights, which are coming up really shortly.
You say waste?
Yeah.
Okay. Unimpressed?
Yeah, kind of. But we'll get to that. I did love
I'm just heartbroken already.
When he does his little jump around the corner, wave his big guns.
Scooby-Dooing, or no, Pink Panthering is what he's doing. It's very different from Scooby-Doo. He's Pink Panthering through the hallways and sort of trying to figure out how this comms thing works. And he's bickering with himself and with Pilot, who he can talk to.
Pilot, answer this felling thing, will you?
Sorry, Rolf. I've been training all my senses on healing Moya.
I got through the waste fence, and Crichton's on the level above the main chamber. He's...
Rolf! Rolf!
Which is fine until he runs into what's-face, Scorpius's aide-de-camp or whatever it is.
Ooh, Natira's. You're talking about
Oh,
Akor.
right,
He's
that's
the
the one.
balding
He's-
gentleman.
right,
He's with the bank. And then Akor holds this sort of disc thing to Rorf's ear
Well,
as a part of an interrogation. It's not quite clear what it
First
does.
of all, Rorf, the blood tracker, gets completely blindsided by a soldier who just walks up behind him and clocks him on the head.
The problem is he's a lousy tracker, and seems smelling is a female's job. Oh, friend.
Although he did manage to figure out at least where Crichton was.
Yes.
So he did that part of his
Yeah,
job.
They actually bring him to him, and they have a little bit of an
Look, there he is,
interrogation
found
session
him.
with him.
He holds out.
Yes.
Rorf defends himself. He does what people are trained to do in the face of interrogation, which is use the truth a little bit. Like he says he was casing the joint for Zenithal pirates.
Yeah.
But not too much. Scorpius immediately, he hears that, and he latches onto that.
Zenithal pirates.
Interesting.
Yes. Natira, however, has other interrogation tactics.
Yes, she
which
gets
she
to
goes
use
to
her,
use.
her head things. What do you call them? Tentacles? They're not got tentacles. They've got
No,
claws.
they're like legs.
Limbs, right?
Yeah, head legs.
And that makes her a cephalopod.
I suppose, yeah.
Right?
I mean, she kind of
that's
is.
brain legs, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, they're not really legs. They're just kind of like wafers, but yeah.
The top one is actually folded over when it's attached to her head, and she gets Soup's horny for his red eyes.
You should have answered me. I was trying to save you.
Animal, you have lovely eyes. I love red eyes. Very sensual. Very unusual.
Soup's horny to the point that she pokes one out.
Yeah, with real relish to presumably eat.
That's the implication, I would say, but
it's never confirmed.
No.
But wow, what a way to get your jollies. And with his eye plucked out, suddenly Rorf is a lot more cooperative.
Yeah, he spills the beans, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
They plan to destroy the generator, then attack in the darkness. Darkness is the key. Please don't take my other eye.
And Scorpius says his senses tell him that he's being honest now.
I mean, we already know that Scorpius has, certain talent to sniff out odd things, and when people are lying and telling the truth. I mean, he immediately pegged John for being an imposter.
That man, he is an imposter.
Very good. Yeah.
Back on the Gamak base, he took one look at him, and he was like,
Seize him.
Arrest that man. Yeah.
I will never forget the way he says, that man. All right, plan time. Everyone, and I mean just about everyone, is on the transport, getting ready to...
On the other transport, I presume.
Oh, yes, there are multiple... Well, no, okay, so we've got Aaron, Dargo, Zan, Jothi, right? Those are the ones that we see, and Rigel is off-screen.
Yeah, well, Rigel is on the other transport, I guess, which they use to bring Rother and the Tablaxian. No, what's it? Rorth, that's it.
Nope, he's in this one.
Oh, okay.
Because she hands over
yes, you're
control
right, yes.
to Rigel, and then Rigel is in control.
And he kind of fumbles with it because he's still juggling the head at the same time as well, and which is not very conductive to working the controls, it seems.
You can either play with your joystick or enjoy your head, one or the other. I mean, I say that, but...
Jothi gets told by Dargo to stay with the ship and protect Rigel, much to his chagrin.
What about me? I thought I was going to.
You're going to stay here on the transport pod with Rigel.
I said I'd go.
Look,
That's why I'm
it
here.
is not your fight.
So they're both just flip-flopping.
I told you to come, and now you just have to sit here and wait.
But it's kind of a cool plan they've got, because in order to bust in through the front door, they need a distraction. And so Moya is going to perform a low atmosphere maneuver. She's going to buzz the station.
Chiana and the pirates are the only ones still on Moya, I suppose, at this point.
Yes, the pirates are coordinating the flax,
Yes.
which is how they'll
cover
secure
their
everybody's
retreat.
escape.
Yeah.
Chiana does her fantastic yell.
Oh,
yeah. I absolutely love it. Fortunately, interrupting Natira's, I guess her refractory period is short enough that she can get super horny about some blue eyes now.
Yes, she really wants one of John's eyes as well.
Scorpius wants your brain. He said nothing about your eyes. Blue eyes. So soft. Very rare.
And then she turns around with her tentacles waving around her. What the frell is that?
But she actually, this is the scene, I think, where she tells him that the thing in his head can actually be removed without killing him, and that the fact that Scorpius is going to kill him once he gets onto the carrier is just because he wants to kill him.
Oh, yes.
Not because there's a particular reason
sorry,
to.
I got really excited about this line, but you're right. He keeps calling her Frau Blucher, which I don't fully understand.
He makes up these weird nicknames for people. Frau Blucher, I mean, she's blue, so...
Oh, yeah, you're right. So this is where he's having a really interesting day. And at this part, he learns that he doesn't actually have to die. But no sooner has he learned that than Moya performs her low-altitude maneuver, smashes all the windows with
her shockwave, yeah.
What the frill is that?
That's Moya.
And now it's time for apparently something that you were unimpressed with, the firefight.
Yeah, I thought it dragged on a little bit.
It's one of the coolest set pieces in the whole... I mean, so many laser bolts. Tony Tilse worked really hard on this, okay?
And my apologies to Tony Tilse, but...
And everybody else as well. It was really dark because they turn off the lights. Eventually they managed to turn off the lights, and like Claudia Black talked about, nobody told us it would be completely black, so we've got to be moving forward, and we've got all these expensive props that we're not allowed to break because there's no time to refix them, and they've got all these extras sort of doing dramatic death scenes in front of us that we can't see, and we've got to somehow wade through them without being tripped up. And
so how did the camera pick that up then? Like, if they can't, I mean, you'd think that the humans have a better
No, sometimes cameras are better at withstanding explosions and big flashes than humans are.
I suppose that makes sense.
Australian Guild of Teamsters, apparently they had the same pyrotechnics crew that worked on The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
So they knew what they were doing, but they had one setup. They had one setup to make it through this hallway and get it right, because those bangers go off and then you don't want to spend 2 hours waiting for everybody to reset it. So they did it in one shot. And they brought in an infrared camera as well.
For the night vision equipment, which kind of failed on Aaron.
I can't see, mine's not working.
That was such a... I really like this firefight because there is a lot that you don't see, which is great. I mean, firefights are a dime a dozen. They can be really interesting when you've got a real sort of bird's eye overview of where everyone is and you sort of understand the pressure that people are under. But when it's a frontal assault like this, you just want the sort of frenetic energy. I really, really dug it. Just me. Okay, I heard it. Okay, fine. I guess
it just didn't tickle my thing. I don't think it's like the kind of thing that Farscape is about. You know, firefights.
Okay, Kay, you've got to reel it back in here, because I can already hear a whole section of our fan base turning against you. You don't want that.
Okay.
Find something. No, I challenge you to find something that you do appreciate here. Maybe there's a Woody in there somewhere.
Good point. Yes, I'm sure.
There might be. I mean, we've had some clunker episodes at some point, and there's always something to love.
Always, yes. I'm just okay, let's drop the subject of the firefight, or at least
Whenever we have a conflict,
thereof.
Really just don't think about it anymore. Just bottle it up. Take this bad opinion of yours and just bottle it up and just never bring it up.
Anyway, while this is going on, before the lights go out, we still have the issue to deal with the generator, which they're going to blow out, and the Xiang is having more problems. He gets the injector shot from Zahn,
which she is hesitant to administer.
Are you sure? It's 7 units. It's a lethal dose.
Not for us.
But not so hesitant, because she just jams it right in him, and it's still not enough.
Yeah, he can feel the fluids, but he can't reach them, and he can't control them. Big bada boom. I did like that gun that the Peacekeeper is shooting with. It kind of looks a bit like a weird grenade launcher that he has.
Oh, I think what you're talking about is one of the Shadow Depository goons, and you can sort of tell them apart because they've got goggles. And they're wearing sort of brown armor versus the Peacekeepers, who have the sort of insect helmets and they're all black. But you're right, that's a gun that they're struggling to take out because he's in a defended position. It's a very powerful gun.
We have to get that furling gun.
They managed to take him out, and now Dargo has the big gun.
But not until Dargo's Coulter blade.
Oh my God, you're right.
Gets the same kind of problem that Winona had in the previous episode.
Winona and the Xiang in this one. Yeah.
I wonder if someone on the staff was having some male problems.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, and it's really it really matters what you do afterwards. So in his case, he takes his sword gun and he finally uses it as a sword.
He throws it.
Which is not traditionally the best way to use a sword, but hey, needs must.
Gets a compliment from Aaron about his aim, which he immediately downplays because he said that he was aiming for his head and not for his chest. But yeah,
look at the size of this. How would it fit between his eyes?
I was thinking the same thing. It's like,
I mean, look at it. Like, it's even split because it's in the sort of battle configuration. So those prongs are more than an eye width away.
It wouldn't make no sense.
So
this
if
was
it's
definitely
vertical, it would hit
definitely
like
better
forehead
shot.
and mouth, and if it's sideways, it would still miss his eyes. It's impossible to get it between the eyes.
But he gets him square in the chest. Now he does indeed have the big gun.
You must hurry. They'll be here soon.
I'm here already, Zan.
Scorpius shows up.
Yeah. Gosh, we're going all over the place.
Gets everybody to surrender, but they don't actually take their weapons away with them. Scorpius immediately realizes that they can't actually shoot the Sheyang because he'll explode.
Can't shoot the Sheyang because he might blow up the generator. Yeah!
Which I didn't even recognize that song, but
I shot the sheriff?
Oh, okay. I shot the Sheyang.
There you go.
But he then blew up the generator.
Yeah! I think we've seen a Sheyang being shot before.
Yes, Aaron blew one up.
Yeah, sorry about the mess. So
that's the one.
Sorry about the mess.
Sorry about the mess.
Scorpius knows that he's in danger, but this Sheyang, wow, where does this heroism come from?
Well, he kind of already had shown that, because remember, he's the one who stayed aboard. He was the captain, stayed with the ship, while everybody else fled the escape pods, and he was doing the honorable thing. And maybe he already knew that he was on his decline, and he figured that it was time to go out in the blaze of glory, and this is what he's doing now. He's getting his second shot at that.
He does challenge Scorpius, hey, don't worry about them.
Worry about me!
He even takes a moment to absolve Zan, says that he always knew it would end this way, which is awfully prophetic. I always knew I would suicide myself next to the generator in a bank.
Maybe he did. Maybe he figured that once he couldn't...
Just like the fortune teller said.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, he aims the weapon at himself.
Blows himself up, and the generator in the process, when everybody just gets to do the cool, jumpy, fly away from explosion type things, which they do with the pneumatic boards.
Yes, but it's cool.
I know. I didn't say it wasn't. Now you're saying that everything I'm saying about this immediately means that I didn't.
You're quite right. I apologize to you, Kay. Your opinions are your own. You can, of course, like or not like whatever you like, because
yes, but now you're immediately attributing... Because just because the firefight didn't...
No, you're right. You're right. I apologize for the sort of plaintive nature of my enthusiasm because, my enthusiasm for something is never antagonistic to yours, and I will never, I never mean to sort of paint you into the corner of being Scrooge. I would never just assume that this really cool firefight that follows is just unimpressive to you and that you just don't want to talk about it because you were so bored. Even though our heroes, they have their cool guns and it's filled with this sort of staccato and infrared and it's so thrilling, and you were just yawning your way through it because it just went on for too long.
Erin has trouble with getting her... I'm getting you back on track here, mate.
Thank you.
Erin is having trouble with her infrared night vision stuff.
It's not just men. So everybody sort of struggles with their equipment sort of failing.
There's lots of blasting and shooting and things getting blown up.
Just shoot!
And right at the end, when she fixes it, then the fight's over.
Yeah, the lights come back on.
And she goes oh, that was quite useful. And who is it that says well, you seem to be doing all right?
That's Bikesh.
Bikesh, yes.
The holy warrior.
For someone who couldn't see, you did okay.
Moving on. I love how everyone sort of at this point has bigger fish to fry, bigger things to deal with than whatever's happening around them. Like these piles of corpses. Yeah, we've got something more important. Scorpius is walking down a hallway with someone who is on fire, and he just sort of turns away and talks louder into his Bluetooth headset.
Bracca, can you see? Right.
No, the monitors have gone dead.
Yeah, there was also some really bad slow-mo in that scene.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm with you there. No, I don't like fake slow-mo, where you take something that's filmed regular and then you do the slow motion. But you've got these cool like freeze frames to sort of suggest what it looked like for Aaron as well. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I also noticed during the firefight that Scorpius was actually getting his hands dirty. He was actually waving the gun around himself rather than just walking around and giving orders.
Yeah, he's standing in the middle of things.
I don't think we've seen him do that before.
He seems quite comfortable. He's unfazed by people on fire around him. He's got his eyes on the ball. Oh, speaking of ball, that's the one that John is strapped to.
Still.
Oh, dear, what has Moya done here? You are so screwed, Medusa. I tell you what, you get me out of here, I'll help you stay alive.
Who informs Natira that, hey, I'm not the only one that Scorpius is going to kill. And in fact, he convinces her to climb into his mind and talk to the neural clone.
Yes, because she doesn't believe him. But she figures that if he can get her to talk to the neural clone, then she can be convinced that Scorpius will in fact kill her and she'll be on his side, which actually seems to be working because she goes in there, talks to Scorpius.
Harvey,
yes.
Yeah.
Who just like confirms to her that, yes, he'll kill you. It's like he has no...
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't explicitly say it, but he also doesn't lie and say that, which is kind of weird.
Well, no, because... we've seen that with Harvey before. He is not the duplicitous schemer that Scorpius is. He's just there to do the job.
Yeah.
And like we saw him like talk to John about like, oh, that's interesting. You're not supposed to be able to do that. But he's never scheming. He's just there to like get the information that he needs to. And there doesn't seem to be... I think it might be a flaw in the programming or something that basically allowed John to summon him and talk to him, which was never intended. Yeah. And he's just there to talk to Scorpius whenever Scorpius needs to get him to do something or get information from. I don't think that John was ever meant to see him or anybody else was ever meant to see Harvey. So
right, yeah.
I guess it's basically an unsecured operating system who's just like...
Well, I'd never even thought about it like that before. That's fascinating. Because, yeah, at best... Harvey tries to create doubt.
Yes.
Right? Tries to create doubt in Crichton about whether he made his own decisions or not. Something that Scorpius reinforces.
Yes.
Like at the beginning of this episode, he tries to convince Crichton that...
It's controlling you, isn't it, John?
I don't know what you're talking about. In there, my neural clone. It forced you to me. Nothing forced me here.
The chip forced you to surrender yourself. And he says no, but... he could feel it happening.
Yes, that's the only thing. He's not a schemer. He's programmed to sow doubt and keep him guessing, but
break him down.
Yeah, but I don't think he actually has any agency of his own very much.
Natira does, however, and now that she realizes that her boyfriend / adopted protege is not so impressed with her. She turns to Crichton and tries to make a deal with him.
To let her leave aboard Moya.
Will you get me on Moya and away from Scorpius? Do we have a deal?
John agrees if she pulls a neural inhibitor out of his neck.
Which, unfortunately, she's done just before he's about to be rescued. So Aaron and Bikesh and Dargo arrive in the interrogation chamber and find a bald ball.
Which is now empty.
A Ben Browderless ball.
Yeah. Better than the other way around.
Oh, God. Crichton and Rorf and Natira are running away, but Crichton is having a real bad time. He can't focus. The chip won't let him.
I guess it's the can't harm or damage Scorpius part of the routine that's playing up here. Because Scorpius, in fact, does show up to confront him once more.
Yes.
Execute Order 66 because the pirates are ordered to turn on the flags.
Braka, signal the Zelkin pirates.
Zelkin, deploy the flags.
Oh, what's it called? Zelkin, I think his name. That's the lead pilot. Hey, do we know their pronouns?
No.
Because we know that Stans was the female of the species, but we don't know that about them. I mean, I think they get called by he/him pronouns.
We can just call him Facebook Face because of that tattoo that he has on the side of his head.
I'm going to need you to walk me through that. How is that? Is that a Facebook logo?
It kind of looks like the Facebook logo.
Oh my God, you're right. He's got an F on the side of his face. I was thinking okay, so maybe it's some kind of makeup against being face detected by
No,
Facebook.
It just looks like the Facebook logo.
This is... Okay. Were you bored by this scene, the sort of standoff between Scorpius, who walks in front of his own goons?
No, of course not.
This was so intense. ordering everyone not to shoot at Crichton, an order that Akor does not exactly follow. But Rorf sacrifices himself by jumping in front of John.
him, yes, which I don't quite understand. I guess he's like repaying him for saving them from the peacekeepers.
I mean,
that
they're
was
here to
war.
save...
That was Dargo.
That was Dargo.
Yeah.
But he's here to save John, and he's shown more sort of courage and ingenuity and, well, maybe not ingenuity, but like more determination, I guess, even than Bakesh, right?
Yeah.
The commitment of Rorf to this mission is just astonishing. Can you tell I really like Rorf?
Well, unfortunately, he does get shot rather badly.
Revenge is taken on at least Akor, but God, this...
Now we get a cool firefight.
Okay, so this one you're into?
This one I was into.
All right, tell me what's so great about this firefight. You do it.
Well, part of it is just John standing there, again, having his like, oh, I want to shoot, but I can't thing. And Scorpius standing there just being smug and, oh, go on then, go on. Oh, yes. Yeah,
the power play.
Yeah.
God, that is
He just can't stop himself from doing that.
Big Mivonk energy.
Yeah. When, in fact, everybody else is running around and blasting people left and right, especially Dargo.
He likes his new gun.
He does like his new gun, yeah.
Claudia Black talked about how happy Anthony Simcoe was and sort of the, I got a big gun, which he named Mr. Sparky.
Oh, God. Yes.
I love that. Rorf asks to be remembered. He begs Dargo, tell my mate.
Dargo, you must go back to her. You must tell her. I will.
Yes.
Okay, well, I will. Do you notice how... Okay, so Scorpius is actually shooting as well. Shooting, presumably, around John.
Yeah.
He holds his gun like a gangster. He holds it sideways.
Yes, well...
Yeah, you disapprove. I know that you're an actual a marksmanship trainer. There is no advantage to holding a weapon like that.
None whatsoever. The only thing it looks...
It doesn't even look cool.
It doesn't anymore, no.
No. But this was 2000, man.
Yeah.
This was still, like... I think Bad Boys had just come out.
Yes,
and
around
it was
that time, yeah.
So cool. Speaking of big guns,
yes.
we've got another one on the way.
Zan. Is that you, Zan?
Grace?
Talon has shown up in defiance of Crace's insistence.
Have you come back to help us?
Let's just say that I'm here.
Crace won't even take any credit for it, but Talon takes out the flax.
Because
which
he's
is
shaving
generated
it.
by, I don't know
I guess it's on the shuttle. I guess
on some kind
sort
of ship that we don't get to see.
Some ship gets blown up, yes.
Chiana seizes the weapon from Zelkin.
There's a struggle for the weapon, a fight. There's like a tension of several moments before we learn which one of the two actually got shot.
In the Mivonks.
In the Mivonks.
Which is deadly to Zenitans, apparently, because
yeah.
They go...
What a waste.
Aaron asks Crace for some more help, and he goes, are you sure?
Talon's firepower is massive, Aaron.
But no, she wants him to shoot at the dark deposit, the shadow deposit. Just like try to shoot away from my transponder signal.
Just shoot casual.
Shoot, yeah.
While her plan is to hide in one of the safety deposit boxes, which Bakesh doesn't think is a great plan, but it's the only one they have.
So he does go along with it.
Crichton is about to go along with it. He says, hey guys.
I'm gonna go to Scorpius.
And Aaron steps in.
Right you are. Dargo, carry him.
Yeah.
Knocks him out, oxters him, hands him to Dargo. Here, you carry him. This is some fantastic leadership. She's cool under pressure, got an idea what to do, communicates to everyone, ensures that everyone's plans are synchronized. Okay, fire in 90.
Give us 90 microts and obviously try not to hit my signal with a direct strike.
Dargo gets to do the Ben Browder maneuver and show off somebody else's bum.
Ben Browder just getting Ben Browder himself.
I thought it was very impressive how sort of well you keep all of these groups together, because Rigel and Jothi are in the shuttle and they're going to pick up Zan and Stark, who are somewhere else in the Shadow Depository next to the generators or some shit.
Rigel does a surprisingly good landing considering the situation.
A good landing is one you can walk away from.
Yeah, a great landing is one you can reuse the ship.
So since they managed to escape from the...
I guess it's a great landing.
Yep. We've sort of seen this before where a Scorpius, like, inches closer, he walks so calmly while they close the door, sealing themselves into one of these pods just before the entire depository is taken out.
Fire!
3 shots from Talon's mighty, mighty grown-up cannon.
Yep.
And the building goes down.
I guess we don't see Scorpius escaping.
Well, he's dead, obviously.
Yeah, of course he is.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, there's no way he could have survived that.
No, of course not.
No. I mean, we saw the door close on him. He's still sort of standing out there.
Of course, he's like dead as a doornail. He's like underneath all that rubble. The entire building collapsed down on top of him, and we'll never see him again.
Exactly.
Exit Scorpius. I guess they're going to have to start an entire new storyline with introduce a new villain. And
it's a satisfying ending, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's.
Play with me. Can you not pretend just a little bit? Can you not ooh, well maybe. Oh, fine. I mean, that's kind of the theme of this ending. Like, everybody's got everything they wanted, and only Rigel manages to be happy.
Mine.
Rigel got a big pile of shinies. He's like, oh, we're rich, we're happy again.
Can this be mine? Can this be mine?
Rigel and his trinkets. Although I noticed that one of those big boxes just looks like Christmas decorations.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the rest is just cups again. It's just all cups.
It's again everything from the prop department. It's probably mostly exactly the same taft that they had on the funeral planet.
Oh, what if it's the same shit and it's just cursed again?
I presume it's the same shit, as in it came from the same box in the prop department. Probably not cursed because, maybe it got moved to the planet and stolen again. But at least there's no weird masks around this time.
Can I have this? Can this be mine?
He's chiding everyone, hey, cheer up. We got everyone. We got Dargo's son. We got John. We killed Scorpius. We got everything we wanted. Why isn't this a party?
Yeah, we only got 2 dead people on our side.
And we didn't really know them anyway. We
No.
didn't really care.
Although
that much.
What's-Face Chrome Dome offers to go and take their share of the loot to
their families. That's very nice. Yeah. And he thanks them. Did you catch that?
Farewell, my friends, and thank you for teaching me to kill again.
Yes.
You see Zahn going, oh no, I did it again.
Oh dear, yeah.
Oh no, it was me last time and now it's my fault. Oh.
Chief Anarchist is a hard job. Yeah, this is the scene where I was thinking that Krace was going to ask Eren to come with him or make that his price, the price for his help. But he doesn't, because it was Talon's decision and not his, he somehow feels...
he isn't owed anything.
Exactly. He doesn't feel like he's owed anything, which seems like... the lead strength to your argument that he actually is reformed, because the old Krace would have immediately jumped on that. Unfortunately, the reform doesn't carry over to his personality, because that's still the same dickish old Krace that we have. But
well, we have seen in The Way We Weren't that there used to be a way worse Krace.
Get your unit working!
True.
His command style was brutal and terse.
Move!
Yeah.
Like this Krace listens to people.
Yeah.
He lets them finish speaking.
Yes.
Which is impressive
At that point, he was a little bit mentally unstable, so we don't know how he was before that. But, because of his brother dying and all that.
And nothing sort of restores one's sanity and balance, like being strapped into the Aurora chair and having your command stripped out from under you and having to mentally bond with a teenage Leviathan. Oh, speaking of teenagers, Dargo comes to introduce Jothi to Crichton.
John, I've brought my son, Jothi, to thank you.
Crazy.
But Crichton isn't all there.
No, he's playing with the chess set, which he was using to play with Harvey before.
There's a lot of symbolism on this chess set. You see that?
Well, he's trying to set up the king, I suppose.
There's a black king standing, and he's trying to set his own white king up, but he can't quite manage it. It keeps falling over.
There's also a big gun pointing at the other king, but...
Yeah, the only other piece on the board is Winona, and he tells Dargo, because he's just not listening. He's not listening or acknowledging Jothi. He tells Dargo that Harvey blames him for letting Scorpius die.
Yeah.
He's here. He's here, and he blames me. Blames me for killing Scorpius. So I've been trying to, but I can't.
What, John?
And he has a final request to make of Dargo, who holds him tenderly in his, he looks so tired. He hasn't slept in a month.
Dargo, kill me. Dargo, please. Kill me.
And that's where we end. So another fun-filled episode of Farscape. How are you loving this?
Oh, it's thrilling. It's exciting.
I literally have the word thrilling written down on my like, and that was during the firefight, the awesome fight. Actually, that was during the second firefight, so we were definitely on board there. Wow,
we're more in agreement. Yeah, that was a well-rounded end to another three-parter, I suppose.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah,
like. Those were a lot of, balls to keep juggling in the air. Okay, so we've got balls, we've got being shot in the mivonks, we've got, guns failing on everyone. We've got it's a very horny episode when you look at all the symbolism that's piled on top of one another.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
It's, they're really dialing that up to as much as they can get away with and still maintain their 8 o'clock rating.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
She gives me a Woody.
She gives you the willies.
My Woody goes to Worf.
I am Worf.
Worf?
Worf!
Worf is essentially me.
Okay.
I didn't realize that the first time around. Like, whenever we see him with his mate, they're all very sort of like, the cartoon crows. But Worf on his own, that would be me in Farscape.
The Zenitans will deploy the Flex.
The Flex? What the fell is the Flex?
Like, if I was given a task that I thought, I could probably do that.
You're no help, Beckesh. Why don't you fell off? I would have found it by now if it wasn't for you clomping around behind me.
I'd just be sort of yelling and bickering and complaining about it all the time while I was striving to do it. He's heroic. He dies a hero, wanting to do the right thing, to be remembered by his mate. And he's just kind of cool. I really like how he talks. He asks all the right questions. Worf is totally my MVP for this episode.
Okay, and Willie?
Ooh, well, originally I was going to talk a little bit about the bad slow motion in that one firefight, but I'm definitely going to... I guess it's that there wasn't enough room for some of these other scenes, like the arc between Dargo and Jothi, and that sort of flip-flop back and forth. That is really cool. That is really interesting psychological development for a newly introduced character and a relationship that we've been looking forward for a while, and it just went too fast.
I mean, they could have taken the bad slow-mo out and then gave him that time to Dargo.
Oh, yeah, that would have saved an extra 25 minutes. All right, you're up.
Okay, I guess they go to the same thing.
Really?
I think it's the scenes with Natira crawling all over Ben Browder and Worf and all that sensual...
Didn't do
torture
it for you?
thing. What do you mean? I mean, they both.
It was super horny.
I know, and that's why they get both my Willie and my Woody too.
Oh. I'm sure she'd know what to do with both the Willie and a Woody.
There you go.
With all those tentacles she's got.
They were both cringe and okay, it's very well done and set up. So I guess my Willie and my Woody goes to the same setup. It's like the torture ball and Natira's playing around it.
I wonder how many... I mean, I've asked this question about Scorpius. I wonder how many people had a little awakening when they sort of saw Natira all right.
Yeah.
I wonder...
Next time I'm at the beach, I'm going to look at the tidal pools in a different light.
And that's the story so Farscape.
We will see you next week with episode 222, Daimi Dichotomy Part 1. No. They are doing a split across 2 seasons episode.
Oh no!
What? I mean, I already knew that it wasn't going to be a 4-parter because there was no to be continued at the end. So
all right. So you're already prepared for that crushing disappointment.
But yes, in this episode, an extreme case of split personality leads to a tragedy. Welcome to our world, baby.
No. You can find us at SoFarscape on Facebook and Twitter. Submit your own synopses at sofarscape.com/submit, or if you want to chip in, you can do that at sofarscape.com/support. Wow, I did that really efficiently.
Yes.
I did it in one go. Kay, you're proud of me.
Fantastic. That gets my Woody.
Oh, weird, but thank you. I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
So Farscape, so good.